Hey everybody, welcome back to MK Motorsports. Today I've got a new part we're going to be installing on the Silverado, and kind of a rehash of an old install that we did, but stick around, we'll show you what we got. So yesterday I was out driving the truck and I just really wasn't happy with the way the truck was feeling. So I decided, it's probably time to put a little bit more boost on it. I was running about 8 pounds of boost. So I turned the boosty knob about 4 turns. And needless to say, I need more traction now. That ramped it up to about 16 pounds of boost, which is what I'm fine with. I have no problem with that. The truck handles it just fine. So when I did the lowering kit, I had to remove the Speed Engineering traction bars that were on it due to the fact that I ended up doing a flipped axle kit. So what I have done is I've ordered another Speed Engineering kit with flipped axle provisions. So here's what we've got in the bag. First off, the most important part, the part that I really needed from the other kit. This is the plate underneath to install your brand new bars and whatnot. So one on each side, same style bars, heim joints, jam nuts. It's got a provision for adjusting this on the truck, so double adjustable on truck. Here's your clamp for your leaf spring and the backing plate to sandwich it all together, and then the axle snubber that will twist up and lock your axle down into place. It goes up against the eyelid. Comes with your sticker. And then it comes with your hardware, which, as you know, I'm not a huge fan of the interference style lock nuts, so I will probably be running to the hardware store here in just a few to go find new ones. So anyway, that's what comes in the box, and that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to go grab some new hardware, and then we will get started putting this thing together, so stick around. So we're going to be underneath this vehicle, and one thing I need to stress is safety. So we need to lift this vehicle up and support this vehicle at the frame as opposed to at the axle like we did on the previous install of traction bars. With the flipped axle kit, the axle is no longer holding the weight of the vehicle. It's more along the lines of the mounting bolts and plates that are holding the weight of the vehicle. So with doing this, support it at the frame. That way when you take the bolts off, the entire weight of the truck doesn't just fall. Just make sure you're doing things safely. I'll show some pictures underneath the truck, get some video while we're doing it. You'll see where I have the jack stands, and I'll make mention of it. And that way everybody can get their projects done safely. Alright, so jack stands in place, cross member attached to the frame. That's where I'm kind of supporting the truck at. Used the jacked up the rear end, got the thing up and in the air, lowered it down, and as you can see, I've got the mounts.
Okay, so I've got the front turnbuckle snubber, whatever you want to call it, kind of loosely mounted up here. And according to Speed Engineering's instructions, they want from the spring eye bolt to this point right here, like draw a line down here, they want like 4 1/8, which, okay, I can see 4 1/8 being right about there. But the problem with that is 4 1/8 will put it like right there when it snubs, and that's not going to work. So I want this thing to essentially hit the eye right about there. So I've gone ahead and drawn a line on my bracket right there, and then you can't really see it very well right there, but maybe I'll come around here with my light, do a line right there on the spring. And so what we're going to do is we're going to get this tightened up, get it square, and then we're going to drill. There's a hole here and a hole back here, and in the last install video I had mentioned doing that, but I was like, oh, I'm going to get a different set of springs. I ended up not getting a different set of springs, so we're going to go ahead and just drill these all the way through, because these things will end up twisting and just they'll lose their place. And basically, once this gets clamped in place and everything, and then you get that pilot hole drilled for the other bolt, it's going to stay here. It's not going to go anywhere else. So anyway, stick around.
Truck and tinkering with this, trying to make this all fit. In those mounts, you have two holes. This hole right here is the one that is directly in line with the mounting hole right here. So this is how I would go with mine. The slotted side goes to the rear of the truck, flat side goes to the front. And I just mount it right there on that alignment hole towards the front. So that way when you get underneath there and you're wrestling with it, you can get it handled real quick. Adjustment nut makes it easier from this side.
So after you get these things adjusted in, you want roughly about 1/8 of an inch between your snubber and your eyelet on your leaf spring. Mine's actually set a little bit too tight, but I'm not going to adjust it. I'm going to just let it roll and see what it does. That way, once these things kind of load up and everything, they start pushing towards it, you got a little bit of a cushion, and mine will kind of set a little bit sooner. But you know, just touching or barely touching, or a slight gap. But that's kind of how I have mine set.
Alright, now that the install is complete, here's my final thoughts and a few pointers for you that I may not have mentioned while installing this. So, the leaf springs, they're hard. They're extremely hard metal. Go spend some money, buy some really good drill bits, and buy a couple of them. I think I went through about six or seven different kinds of drill bits before I finally got this thing done. Next, the little turnbuckle snubber thing for the that swings up and it hits the eyelet on the leaf spring. That bolt that connects that to the bracket that you bolted to the leaf spring, you don't have to crank that bolt down tremendously. Nice and tight is good, as long as that thing can still move, and it doesn't have to like move super freely. It just doesn't need to bind up. The hind joint bolts for the arms, those can be cranked all the way down. You're not going to hurt them. The hind joints are going to move no matter how tight they are. The other thing is the hardware in this kit. This is my second go around with this Speed Engineering traction bar kit. The hardware, I used the hardware on the first kit and didn't like it at all. This thing has 12 different mounting positions, and when you're putting this thing in, you don't know what's going to be right, where your instant center is going to be. This truck's so long, my instant center is like somewhere like next week. But anyway, so when you're adjusting that, when you use those interference style bolts, first off, if you get them all the way tight, you did good. The next thing is, if you can get them off without using a torch or a saw, they're going to gall the threads up on the bolt, and the hardware is going to be ruined anyway. So do yourself a favor, just run to the hardware store, get matching bolts. I get the Nylock style nuts. They work really well. Other than that, that was kind of some pointers that I had for it. I also, one thing I did remember is when I put the bars on, they do have a provision for a wrench to adjust them while they're on the vehicle. I put that towards the front of the truck. That way I can get down there nice and easy to adjust it, tighten it up, or loosen it off, however I want the truck to react. But other than that, second go around with these traction bars, like I said, I like them. They're really expensive, or inexpensive, and you can do this in your garage, and you can do it in a weekend. One thing I will say, it does take some bigger wrenches. I don't know if a lot of people have 1 1/16", 1 1/8" sockets and wrenches. That's kind of the biggest size that I ran into on this. But other than that, great little install, great little kit, something good for pickups that are, you know, making more than stock horsepower. This one, like I said, I went from 8 pounds of boost to 16 pounds of boost, and I realized I had traction issues immediately. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm trying to reach 500 subs by the end of the year. Here we are, middle of August. I may make it, I may not, I don't care. I do enjoy doing this, but do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, put in the comments what you think about it, if there's anything you think I could have done better, if you have any questions on the install. Other than that, guys, y'all have a great weekend. I'll catch y'all on the next upload.